I'm Dr. Thomas McCluskey, a postdoctoral researcher in the graduate school. One of the most intimidating parts of the academic job interview process can be figuring out how to clearly and concisely present your research. In this workshop, we'll examine the academic job talk and consider how to present your work and yourself at a campus job interview. We'll discuss how to create effective presentations that coherently summarize our research and how to plan for and handle questions and discussions about your work so that you can make sure your voice is heard. Academic job searches can be long and arduous processes. Once you have gotten past the early stages of the process to get invited for a campus visit, you'll be tasked with demonstrating what kind of researcher and presenter you are in person. The academic job talk is an incredibly important component of this part of the process. As former Stanford University Vice Provost Michelle Marinkovich explains, the academic job talk is the final step before a decision is made among candidates on the shortlist, adding, it often is the deciding factor in a departmental hire. It's the academic job talk that often reveals to faculty why they want to hire a person or don't want to hire another. Many graduate students are often great writers, but can struggle to explain their research in person, and others are fine researchers, but even better in-person communicators, and the latter can have a huge advantage in securing an academic job. Thus, understanding what academic job talks are and how to handle them with clarity and poise can make all the difference. The first thing to consider is who you'll be speaking to. Consider your audience. As Sura et al. Suggest, learn as much as you can about the position and what institutional needs the position is meant to address within the department and broader university. If you're applying for a position within a specific department, what is the scope of the research in that department? Does it have a mission statement? Are any strategic aims or future plans publicly available? Be a detective before your visit and try to learn as much as you can. The best job talks adapt well to the specific departments they are speaking to and hoping to join. In a macro sense, consider the university and department. Second, in a micro sense, consider who specifically you'll be speaking to. Most job talks have a mix of both specialized and unspecialized audiences comprised of professors in your field as well as undergraduate and graduate students, and you'll need to appeal to both. Sura et al. Explain, likely there will be people in the audience who work in the same field as you. Make sure to impress these experts with your knowledge and convince them you are worthy of being their colleague. You want to show them you have the sophistication and skills necessary to tackle advanced problems. Similarly, you want to make sure the people who work outside your discipline are able to follow and enjoy your presentation. In addition to impressing the specialist in the audience, you want to make sure the people who work outside your discipline are able to follow and enjoy your presentation. To that end, you'll need a mix of both technical, discipline-specific so what arguments, as well as engaging examples for non-specialists that highlight the significance of your work. Third, to address both the specialized and non-specialized audiences, remember to tell a coherent story about your research that shows the audience who you are as a scholar. The search committee will have your CV already, so there's no need to try to recreate it in your job talk. Instead, pick a few projects and papers that you think are adequate and exciting representations of your work and focus on those. While your dissertation is likely focused on a narrow research area, your job talk should start with the overarching themes your dissertation highlights. For example, instead of saying that you studied nationalism in Ukraine, argue that you're interested in exploring how people construct their national identity and then use Ukraine as one example. Ask yourself what questions are you most passionate about solving in your research. This can point not only to the work you've already done, but towards your research trajectory for the future, which can help your audience picture your next decade of scholarship and how you'll fit well in the department. Fourth, remember to practice your job talk. This is still a presentation like any others, so the same rules apply. Try to avoid verbal fillers and have as much conversational delivery as possible. Similarly, make sure that your visual aids are appropriate with a blend of images, text, and audience engagement approaches. Practicing with your PowerPoint and remembering to avoid turning to face the screen can also help maximize polished and engaging delivery. Especially if your job talk will be online, try recording it in advance and seeing how your presentation looks to fine-tune delivery approaches and maximize engagement. Finally, plan as much as possible for the question and answer session. Think about what questions are likely to come up during the job talk and consider how you'll answer them. Many can be predicted in advance, and thinking through your responses can give you a huge advantage. In the actual job talk, take your time. Sura et al. Explain these strategies. When someone asks you a question, it can be helpful to paraphrase the question before beginning your answer. This gives you some extra time to compose your own thoughts and make sure you understood the question, and ensures the rest of the audience hears the question too. If you can, convey enthusiasm in this situation. If it's truly an idea you've never considered, then treat this as an exciting and valuable scientific exchange, not an oral exam you're failing. The key here is to remain calm and project confidence and conversational style. How you handle these questions is as important as your answers to them. The academic job talk can be intimidating, but with thorough planning and preparation, you can adapt well to the situation and convey your research in engaging and conversational ways so that your voice can be heard.